probably already know. What is this video about?
Stereotypes.
And who are they talking about with regards to stereotypes?
Asians and white people.
Asians and Americans.
Well, I mean, it seemed like they just went solely towards white people. So like, all white people have blonde hair, blue eyes.
Yeah, that's what Japanese people assume about Americans.
Yeah, there was not one non-white person in that video, unless they were Asian.
So that's another stereotype.
Yeah.
That all Americans are white.
Yeah.
So what did they say about, like, Americans? What was the American stereotype?
Men
I'm
are
good as a cowboy.
cowboys.
Very Hollywood. Very.
Everyone has a lot of money.
Yeah.
There's no homeless people.
There were a lot of things surrounding, like, money and products and commercialism, so where do you think, like, they would get that perception of us?
What they see on TV and stuff.
Advertising to movies. Yeah, those are all good. So basically, they are framing their opinion on us based on commercials and what do you think that says about our culture? Like what we focus on, what we value.
We value money and expensive things.
That's what we show about America, but there's obviously like an underside to America, but that's what we're putting out there.
And it's true, that is kind of what we're putting out there through our corporations and stuff. So what were some of the Asian stereotypes?
They're bad drivers.
They always,
They're good
always
drinkers.
together.
That's true.
They all live in the country.
Well, that's kind of interesting what you said. I'm sorry, Jasmine. You said it's true. Like, where do you think, like, where do we get those stereotypes
Well,
from?
I see it all the time. Like, every single time I see, like, Asian, well, not every single time, but most of the time I see an Asian person, it's always, like, more than one. But, I mean, I see it. I mean, I'm not really, I guess I am stereotyped.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Some of the things we experience.
My best friends in high school are all Asian, but they were all different kinds of Asian. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they were all from the same
like
country.
Korean or
So it wasn't like I didn't know what
Vietnamese.
they were saying. They just happened to all be Asian. They hung out with me.
But I mean, but some of those things, like we all experience, like the whole Asians can't drive stuff. Like every Asian friend I have, when they drive my car, I go, holy crap, I'm gonna die because they're terrible drivers. I mean, not all of them, but all of my friends who are Asian, and I have a lot of Asian friends. When they drive my car, they almost hit something like every time.
Okay, well, keeping that in mind, I mean, think about the American stereotypes that they gave us. Like, were those true?
No, not all men are different.
Yeah, I think the world perceived us as like just complete jerks the entire time. Like,
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
There's that kind of stereotype that Americans are, I don't want to say rude, but that's how some people perceive us.
And which is worse? Like, okay, so we're supposed to be this melting pot of a country where we have a lot of Asians who live here, but are there as many of us who would be in their country? No. So is it worse that we have a lot of Asians and different cultures here and we still hold on to these stereotypes? And then the fact that they just live, a lot of times they live in their country and they don't see as much diversity as we do. So what they see, they hold on to it more. But even though we have more of a diversity, especially here at VCU, a lot of times we still hold those stereotypes.
I mean, all the things we see about their country, we usually see the whole Asian people live in the countryside or something. Every time you see a documentary of poor children in another country, it's always they live in some kind of village. Or when you see videos from World War II or something, it's always when we were in Vietnam, they're attacking the villages, not attacking the main city. So it's just what we've seen in our media.
But is that necessarily accurate? Because, you know, what we were saying, how we've been
It's
reflecting.
not accurate, it's just what we've been shown.
My stereotype when I think of Asians is Tokyo.
Yeah,
so it's
that's
kind of
what
the
I was
opposite.
Yeah, I thought they
Opposite
lived in the
from
city.
countries.
Like, it was like,
I
you
thought they
know,
had really
think of,
cool
like, high
knickknacks
fashion,
and do that.
Like Tokyo Drift Carnival, like sort of
I think with the countryside, they were talking about, like, in China, like a lot of people working on farms and stuff. I think that's where that came from. But I mean, what I was trying to say is, we were kind of shocked and surprised, like, how did they get those stereotypes of us? They aren't true. I mean, some of us do like McDonald's and Coke, and some of us do drive fast cars, but I mean, that's not everybody. So does the same reasoning apply to Asian stereotypes?
you say no, you say yes.
What was the, I didn't understand how that question was. Are you saying that they're probably going to respond the same way we respond? Like, where
Yeah.
did they get that from?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but we were kind of saying, oh, their stereotypes, the stereotypes of Asians are fair because that's what we see, that's what happens. But when we were shown the stereotypes of Americans, we're like, oh, that's not true. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, is it fair for us to say our stereotypes are false, but their stereotypes are true?
Oh,
like I totally agree with what you said. It's kind of like the stereotypes. We see the stereotypes and we're just assuming they're true because we see them, but we don't really know, you know, if they're really true.
We've seen them in some cases, but not
In some
all.
cases,
And
yeah.
when you see them in some, you kind of generalize them.
I think it's really easy to generalize, you know. Movies, Tokyo Drift type of stuff, like you could just be like, oh yeah, they all drive nice cars.
Yeah.
They all do techno
Backflips.
backflips and stuff, Bruce Lee type of stuff. I don't know.
The American stereotype in that video, I thought was like a stereotype you would see like in the 80s about America or something. Everyone, I would assume in the world now knows that not everyone in America is white and lives in Hollywood.
Or is it cowboy?
Yeah, or is it cowboy? I don't know where they got that from.
Where do you think they got
They
it from?
probably just thought, oh, George Bush, he's a cowboy. You got cowboys. Yeah.
Western like.
Yeah,
But all westerns you see now are like
Yeah,
black
I
and
did
white.
say. I feel like I've seen something like that.
But are they always? I'm sorry. Are they always seeing the most up to date like movies and commercials, or are
They
they?
have the
They
movies
have
that
the
haven't
highest-
come out yet on DVD.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm just saying.
But up until the Industrial Revolution, the entire history of America has been sort of that cowboy ideology, right? Or expansion west and all
Manifest
of that.
Destiny.
Manifest Destiny. It's just until the last 100 years, less than 100 years, that it's been different, you know?
With everyone's differing of opinions, because some of us have different views, just within your groups again, just come up with the message you think that the video is trying to get across.
And write it as a thesis statement.